Welcome back. 3 steps to memorizing. Trust me, if you understand what I'm about to say, your life will change. There is nothing that will be impossible for you to memorize. Can we continue? Yeah, let's go. So the first steps, as I said earlier, is encoding technique. The second one is storage, where you store it, and then the last step is retrieval, how to bring back the information. Do you understand? The way you save an information will determine whether you can be able to bring it back to your memory, bring it back to your head so that you can use it to pass an exams or not. Do you understand? So now let's move to encoding. What is encoding? Encoding simply means converting the information or that knowledge to a form that is storable. So encoding usually takes place in your working memory. The way you transfer an information from your working memory to your long-term memory for storage is what they call encoding. Information has to be converted to make it memorable, to make it storable. Have you ever eaten? In fact, every food you have eaten has been converted to give you energy. Same thing too happens in a computer. You speak high level language, which is English, right? But the computer understands binary machine language, zeros and one. So if you write this is a boy on your laptop, guess what is going to the computer is 01110001111001. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There is a translation that happens inside, and when you want to retrieve that information back, there's also a translation that usually happens inside of the CPU. What am I trying to say is that every information you are reading in a book is not stored that way in your long-term memory. So the process of transferring, of converting, transforming, translating that information into something storable is what they call encoding. Do you get? Now I'll give you 6 things you can do to an information to make it storable. The first one I will give you is this: every word that can be converted into an image should be converted. Do you understand? Every word that can be converted into an image should be converted. I'll give you an example. So let's assume you're trying to read. As I said, photosynthesis is the process whereby green plants manufacture their food using sunlight and chlorophyll in the presence of water and carbon dioxide, right? Let's assume that's it. So what is green plant? It's too vague. You can't picture it. So what am I going to advise you to do? Pick a plant that you know. Do you understand? Say cowpea, pick cowpea and change it. Now, cowpea is something you can imagine. Can you imagine chlorophyll? No, but you can imagine the color green. Do you get it? So if you begin to tweak that definition into something you can visualize, then you can be able to store it. Does it make sense? Now, number 2 things you can do to every information in order to store it is to form an analogy or make it relatable. What does that mean? Simple. Convert it to something that you already know. Now let's assume you're a physics student in SS1 or SS2 or in high school or in university, and then you're trying to know the definition of speed. You know, speed is the distance traveled over time. Am I right? Oh? And then you don't know what is speed. You are trying to hold this definition in your head, but it's not staying. But now let's assume you watch football. Yeah. And then I say, do you know Ronaldo? You said, yes, I know Ronaldo. He's GOAT, right? And then do you know Joe Felix? You say, yes, I know Joe Felix. Okay, like who is the faster footballer among both of them? You say, it's Ronaldo. So it means if I put Ronaldo and Joe Felix in a goalpost and I tell them to run to the other goalpost, who will be the first person to reach? You say, Ronaldo. Okay. How do you know? Because he's faster. It means speed is talking about what? Fast. But so how did you calculate which of them is faster? You say, okay, number one, the time they reach, right? And the distance they cover. So if Ronaldo begins to run and he reaches the second goalpost in 13 seconds, and then Joe Felix runs to the next goalpost in 15 seconds, you tell me that Ronaldo is faster. Do you understand? Now, I'll now say it's the same thing too. So speed is just distance over time. The distance they cover and the time over the time. That is it. Now, the guy is able to relate it because he knows football. You understand? That's what it means to make something relatable. You try to combine it with something that you already know. Does that make sense? Next one is linking. You link it with something already. I think I said this one already. You link it. I will explain that when I get to storage. I will tell you how that one works because they work together. Now, the next thing you should do after linking is frequency. You increase the repetition, you increase it. Anything you increase, anything you repeat will stay in your head. Later, I will tell you about spaced repetition. When we come to retrieval, I'll tell you about spaced repetition and how it works. Understand? The room you enter the most is the room you will know the most. If the moment you bring that information to your head frequently, you repeat that information, you are able to keep it more in your head and make it memorable. If you did primary school in Nigeria, did you remember when you're learning 2 times? How many times you did it 2 times? I did 2 times like 10,000 times, and finally it's in my head now. Do you understand? How did it get there? It's by repetition. The next one is make it stand out. For any information to go straight into your long-term memory, it must stand out. Then the next one is to make it emotionally memorable. Emotionally memorable. Connect every new information with your emotions. Do you get? If you know, if you can make it funny, make it funny. If it makes you happy, you understand? So you connect it with your emotions. The moment you can do all these things to your emotion, you are converting it into something that can be stored. Do you know you can remember the most painful experience that you have ever had in your life? You can still remember it. Do you get my point? So if you can convert every information into something that can stay in your head, then it will stay in your head. So please don't forget, number one thing you can do to every information to make it stay in your head is convert every word into an image, right? Make it relatable using analogy, link it to something that you already know, make it emotionally related, make it stand out, and repetition. Do you get? Yes.